In this video, we're going to talk about the effects of inactivity and the importance of exercise. So when we're not as active as we'd like to be, then there are lots of effects within the body, and I'm sure most of these that you're already aware of, but our muscles become tight and they become weak, so it's harder to move ourselves about. Our joints can become stiff, our bones become weaker and they can lose some density. It also affects our heart, lung and digestive systems, so you might find that you get short of breath more easily when you have to walk quickly somewhere, or you might find that your digestion becomes much more sluggish and also have problems with constipation. Also, we can get fatigue, so a lack of fitness can lead to low energy levels and difficulty sleeping. It can also affect our nervous system and our brain, so low mood or depression can occur. It also impacts on our immune system, so we're less resistant to infection, and it can also lead to an increase in weight, which puts more pressure on our joints. So people who are healthy but inactive can develop some of these difficulties, but people who have persistent pain are particularly at risk because inactivity is often one of the central problems. People often have a fear of exercise, but remember, you are always in control. So after an injury, a rest period may have been advised and necessary to aid recovery, but in some people this period goes on for much too long. So this resting and recovery, it's best if we stop that now and can start to try and build up some more activity. So over time the body can decondition, and lack of movement can cause pain and problems of its own, unrelated to the original injury. So it may even feel like your pain is spreading, but it's not that the original problem has got worse, it's because things have got tighter and stiffer and can feel like things are getting worse. So with exercise, we can reduce the pain caused by inactivity, even though we may not relieve the original cause. So now we're going to talk about the benefits of exercise and how to reverse the effects of deconditioning. So if we can become more active again, then the benefits are that it improves our strength and our suppleness of our muscles and joints. It improves the function of your heart and lungs. It can really help improve energy levels and improves the efficiency of all our body systems. It can keep our weight down, can have a really positive impact on our sleep and our mood. And it helps with the production of our body's own natural painkillers like endorphins. And it's the real key to unlocking that medicine cabinet in your brain. And also it stresses your body tissues to improve their tolerance to moving again. So really trying to get you back to those things that you may have stopped over time. It also reduces the pain memory. So it's teaching the body that it's safe again to move. And it also uses up any excessive adrenaline from the stress response, which can make the pain feel worse. So how do we go about this? So if you have persistent pain, it's really common to just think, right, I need to do more exercise. People try and do something one day, but find that it flares them up for a few days after. And that's really demotivating. It means that you're probably not likely to stick to it. So if we're thinking about introducing activity again, we've got these principles of graded activity that you can see here. And it's a really nice stepped approach that's a really useful way to think about it. So we start off at number 1, which is around stabilising your routine. So trying to move away from the boom-bust cycle that we saw in the previous video. Then we can start some stretches. And these are, thinking of sort of preparation and for the body to exercise. You can also do those two things at the same time. And the physiotherapist that you're working with would guide you onto which stretches might be most helpful for you. The next thing then is to really think about your goal, because exercise is best when it's more specific. So if your goal is to be able to walk to the local shop, then we would think about perhaps walking as your activity. So to find your baseline, it's about thinking of the amounts that you could do on one day and be pretty confident that you could manage it the next day and could repeat that for around 4 or 5 days that week. Versus doing something on a Monday, say, and then thinking, gosh, I couldn't do that again for the rest of the week. That wouldn't be your baseline, that would be too high. So that baseline is that nice consistent level of activity that you can do that doesn't lead to a flare-up. And if you can do that for a week or so and that goes well, you can start to then do step 5, which is increase the duration. And we tend to say no more than about 10-20% every 3 or 4 days or weekly, whatever works best for you. So if one week you're walking for 10 minutes, then the following week you could walk for 12 minutes, the week after that building up to closer to 15 minutes. But what you wouldn't do is walk 10 minutes one week, 20 minutes the next, and 30 the week after. That would be much too quick, and your tissue tolerance probably wouldn't be able to keep up with that increase. And then when you've got your time up to a level that you're happy with, you might then start to increase the intensity, so level 6, perhaps how fast you're going or more uneven ground, and building up how hard you're working. And if we do it in this way, it's much more likely to be sustainable and give you all of those really nice benefits that we talked about before. So after watching these videos today, it would be really useful before your appointment here if you can think about how any of these things are relevant in your own lives, and if you can start to implement any of the techniques that we've talked about. If you'd like to know some more, there are some useful links at the bottom of this page, or you can also call the physiotherapy department here if you have any questions. But obviously we look forward to meeting you. Thanks for now.